Akira Oono is an ugly, pathetic otaku who has been working on a game that he created a decade ago, and when he decides to delete it forever, he finds himself in a world where he is the most overpowered demon lord. With that, he impresses every single girl and creates a harem. However, before any of this, we see Akira Oono playing Infinity game that he created 15 years ago, but tonight he decides to shut down the server forever at 12 sharp. He says his final goodbye to the demon lord, who is also known as Kunai, not the one from Naruto, but yeah, his name is Kunai. As he shuts down the server, he opens his eyes in a place filled with greenery, the situation, and realizes that his voice is also changed just like his ugly, pathetic face. He uses administrator rights and learns that this game is different than the one he used to play. He lights up his cigarette to start his mission to run from there, but before he could understand anything, a giant monster appears at the scene, prompting Kunai to ask if he's the girl that he's not into non-veg, and asks why she called him the demon lord. The girl replies that his ugly face gave her the idea, so Kunai asks about her name, and she says that her name is Aku. Kunai asks if they are in Japan, but Aku tells him that she never heard about. Kunai finds out that he can now use some of the administrator rights, and since he is a disgusting creep, it's to enhance his skills when Aku approaches him, so he asks where he can find more monsters. Aku reveals that she heard that the monster known as Grial was sealed at the wishing shrine in the forest. She can read their language as same. Upon reaching at the wishing shrine, Kunai smells love juice and decides to keep Aku outside. Inside the shrine, he sees many dead bodies in front of an elf-like witch who reminds me of my ex. She informs him that she can grant one last wish, prompting Kunai to ask if she was the one who summoned him in this world. But she says that it was the wish of those humans' dirty wishes. She has turned into an old hag, and after this, she turns into dust. Later, Kunai agrees to her proposal when Aku says that before this, she needs to get her belongings from her village, to which Kunai agrees. After a long journey as Aku's donkey, Kunai reaches her village where some boys start a pop that head contest. This infuriates Kunai, and his demonic ring tells him to eliminate them, as this is the only thing he's been doing for 15 years in Infinity game. Kunai jumps in to stop them, prompting Aku to thank him while calling him the demon lord, which scares everyone. However, as a gift for which they leave the village without taking Aku's belongings. On the other hand, we see Owengle, the leader of a bandit group known as the Moles. His henchmen arrive to report him about the holy maiden, Luna Elegant, who is heading towards them with her servants. The next evening, we see Kunai and Aku still on their journey when Kunai decides to stop and camp for the night. So he takes out 2 items from his inventory, which he uses to build a strong base for the time being. He explains that facing attacks from rocket launchers are nothing in front of this base, which impresses Aku, so she hugs him while asserting that he is incredible. After getting inside, he tells Aku to clean herself. Afterward, he wonders if he will be able to go back to his world, as he unlocks all administrator rights after gathering enough skill points. He thinks that he was brought in this world by the wish-granting witch, and now that she has gone, maybe he needs some power equal to hers. However, even if he goes back, his manager will kill him for sure, as he forgot to clear his browsing history. At that moment, Aku arrives and informs him that she has taken the bath, prompting Kunai to compliment her that she is smelling good, which makes her delighted. Aku then gets on the bed, causing Kunai's heartbeat to rise like crazy, so he asks if she wants to sleep with her, and Aku says that she surely does. The next day, Owengle spots Kunai, and Aku says that Luna is using them as decoys to attack them, so he orders his men to attack the duo and retreat as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, Kunai grasps the situation and tells Aku to watch the show from a distance. Just then, the thugs attack Kunai, but he uses a shield to block it and starts mocking them for being weaker than his climax. Owengle approaches him with his men, while Kunai recognizes him as his manager Aoki Senmu from the real world. Owengle asks him if he is a magic user, but Kunai doesn't answer him, which infuriates Owengle, and he calls him an old guy. Kunai gets mad and starts arguing, prompting Aku to tell him to run while calling him the demon lord. A man attacks Kunai, but he sends him in the air with a mere flick of finger, leaving everyone surprised. At that moment, Luna attacks them, and they start running like ants, but in this mess, Kunai also gets a taste of her powers, so he asks her to apologize. Luna asserts that she is one of the 3 holy maidens and orders her troops to arrest Kunai, but he takes them down in the blink of an eye. Afterward, he approaches Luna and starts slapping her buns like some maniac. In the next scene, we see Aku and Kunai back on their journey after he has snatched all of Luna's money. Upon reaching the market, Kunai treats Aku to a barbecue, after which they go to a hotel to stay, where he decides to buy dresses for Aku. Later, when Kunai offers the giant gold coin to the salesman, he gets on his knees to please him with something else, but Kunai says that he's not into bromance. At that moment, Aku appears with her new dress, which makes Kunai think that this is the biggest glow up he has ever seen. He also notices that Aku's left eye has a different color, and after this they head to eat dinner at a fine place where Aku feels like she is a princess. She thanks him for treating her differently than others and asks him why he is doing all this for someone like him. But Kunai doesn't bother much, so Aku tells him that if there is anything he wants her to do, she will do it for him no matter what. At that moment, Luna arrives at the restaurant and tells Kunai that he can't eat dinner with her money. But Kunai tells her that if she doesn't want to get disciplined again, she should sit with them and avoid disturbing others, to which she agrees. Afterward, Kunai and Aku head back to the hotel where Luna comes once again and tells him that she doesn't have anywhere to stay because he took all her money. Upon Kunai's question, she reveals that she has sent her troops to keep them away from danger, and Aku tells Kunai to behave in a nicer way, so Kunai returns her the money. But Luna says that she can let them stay with her as they got the room from her money. In the meantime, we see another hot girl with her troops who is heading towards the city. Later, Luna tells Aku to call her sister Luna, to which Aku agrees reluctantly. The Infinity Game. Just then, Luna and Aku also arrive, prompting Kunai to assert that he wants to learn everything about the cherubs. Aku explains that Kunai doesn't know much about this place, so Luna tells him that after sealing the Grial, the cherub died because he had used all his power, but Ophin and Seraph stepped forward to guide the people after him. Kunai asks for Ophin and Seraph's whereabouts, only to learn that nobody knows about them, but it is said that the idol at Wishing Shrine was Ophin. The next day, Kunai thinks that he needs to gather more, tells the shopkeeper that he wants to establish a partnership with him and demands a giant gold coin as security. The old man agrees to buy it, and Kunai tells him to sell that stinky bowl for at least 5 giant gold coins. On the contrary, we see the leader of a satanist group called Walking, who is telling his subordinate out of the hotel. Luna comes out and explains that the demon lord exists, and she has tamed him with the charms of her buttocks, but Killer Queen scolds her for acting on her own without telling her anything. Just then, Walking and his underlings attack, and they launch a powerful counterattack on them. Kunai, who is observing the scene from a distance, remembers that these Satanists are wearing the same clothes. The boy approaches the holy maidens and asks if they are feeling fine, prompting Melted Queen to gently ask him about his name, and the boy introduces himself as Zero Kirasama. Afterward, he tells Melted Queen to take care of those who got injured, to which she responds positively, after which Zero leaves. Meanwhile, we see that a Satanist has made back successfully with that dirty sticky material, who thinks that the Dragonkin have formed a secret alliance with the Kingdom of Holy Light. On the other hand, Aku finds Kunai, who is vomiting, remembering how lame Zero Kirasama was calling himself the definition of unrivaled. Kunai asks Aku if she saw the boy in white clothes, and Aku explains that since she was in the hotel, she couldn't see him with her own eyes. But Luna told her about the boy, mentioning that he was the Dragonkin. The scene shifts to the Mikan the Great, learn that he's called the Demon King, and the kingdom wants N back because she has Kunai as a bodyguard, resulting in them getting in an argument. However, Aku seems to enjoy this, as she always wanted to go on a journey like this. The following day, Kunai gives a dress to Luna while telling her that she stands out in her current dress, so she should change it. But Luna understands his old mind and refuses. However, Aku says that Luna will look good in it, which convinces her to try it. On the other hand, we see Yukikaze and Mikan in a freaky desert where they have come to take down the Sandwolves. Yukikaze says that the Sandwolves are not some jokes, as they have the power to destroy cities, but Mikan tells him that if they are not in a large number, they can handle them easily. Just then, many Sandwolves appear at the scene, prompting the duo to run from there, while Yukikaze asserts that he can't take them all since he has only one hole. Somewhere in the same desert, Kunai tells Luna to change her dress while he smokes outside, and once again, she reads his mind that this old-timer wants to peep if her buns are back to normal or not. While smoking outside, Kunai thinks that fighting is the only way to attain skill points when he sees a sandstorm heading towards him, but soon realizes that it is a horde of wolves chasing 2 girls. Kunai tells Aku and Luna to stay calm and decides to take advantage of the opportunity to gain more skill points. A wolf attacks Kunai but fails to break through his shield, so Kunai decides to give them a good taste of his power. While Mikan and Yukikaze are observing him, Kunai starts attacking the wolves with his tremendous skills, one after another, leaving everyone astonished. The remaining wolves run with their tails between their legs, and Kunai tells the hunters to avoid getting others involved in their mess. As the trio leaves, Yukikaze expresses about the itchiness he's feeling in his rear end, while Mikan says that they must go to the capital quickly. Later, they decide to rest and feed the horse, so Kunai tells the girls to rest in the base as he needs some time to ponder on something important. Luna gets surprised to see the base, prompting Aku to inform her that they can also take bath inside. After the girls go inside the base, Kunai finds out that just like Infinity Game, he can summon 8 underlings who have great powers, but because he has not gained enough skill points, he can only summon one of them. He thinks that for now, he cannot protect himself against magic, which is a weakness he can't ignore. So he thinks of a genius doctor who has some deficiencies like being short-tempered and sadistic. But Kunai believes that she can invent something to guard him from magical attacks. After pondering for a while, he decides to summon the Dr. Yukarino, and a hot girl materializes in front of him who starts calling him Chief. Akira couldn't believe that the character he created is talking and moving on her own, but he tries to stay calm and tells her about that whole situation. Meanwhile, Luna is delighted to enjoy her life in the new house and decides to ask Kunai to give her the house as a present, so she asks Aku to help her in doing so and she agrees to it. On the other hand, after listening to the whole story, Yukarino suggests Kunai to build Nightless City, which is technologically most advanced, and the final area of the Infinity Game. But Kunai tells her that they will have to work a lot to reach that level, and the first step will be upgrading the base to field hospital. However, he orders her not to kill someone out of her curiosity, prompting Yu to say that they can't move forward with trivial knowledge, so Kunai says that for the time being, he will share with her everything he knows. Afterward, Kunai introduces Yu to Aku and Luna and tells her to heal Aku's wounded leg, which she does in no time. Kunai then takes Aku for a walk, which she enjoys, and thanks him for everything he has done for her so far. Upon returning, Kunai thanks Yu, which makes her feel special, and she starts thinking that this is the first time she's felt anything like this. The scene shifts to Yukikaze, who tells Lei that he is desperate to get the hole in his heart filled by Kunai, but Mikan tells him to save his other hole and get this idea out of his mind, as Kunai is not some random gay but a demon lord who took out nearly 300 sandwolves in seconds. We see the Satanist with the mysterious box known as Hades, while he informs his boss Utopia about the Dragonkin who took out all his henchmen. Utopia gets enraged and says that Hades needs more sacrifices to get stronger, so they will destroy the capital to make it happen. On the other hand, Kunai and the gang reach an almost dead village which happens to belong to Luna. Kunai asks her if she's fine with it, but she says that she has no interest in running this territory and someone from church is already managing its matters. Kunai thinks that if Luna got to run the territory, she would have destroyed it in days, and then uses telepathy to ask Yu if she thinks the same, that Luna is being manipulated by the church, to which she replies with a yes. Kunai decides to use this territory because it belongs to Luna and so one will interfere with their work. He informs Luna about it, saying that he's planning to create the doctor's office in the village's corner, which makes Aku excited, and they start seeing the land for this purpose. Just then, the man from church arrives there and welcomes Luna to bless the land with her footsteps. He recognizes Kunai as the man from the wanted poster, resulting in changing the color of his pants to yellowish brown. Kunai reveals that from now on Luna will take care of the village along with him and asks the man to return to the church and let them know about it as well. The man says that they should talk to his superiors, prompting Kunai to tell him that since this territory belongs to Luna, they don't need anybody's approval in the decision making. Meanwhile, we see Kion and Momo discussing the quality of land and soil, which is very low to grow vegetables. On the other hand, Luna tells Kunai that these people are from a race which is called bunnies, and it is said that the cherubs used to love them so much. But Kunai thinks that basically the bunnies are being isolated, prompting Luna to say that the Kingdom of Holy Lights hates all races except humans. Afterward, Kunai is told about the shortage of water in the village, so he asks the villagers to take him to the village's well. Yu checks the condition of the well and informs Kunai that digging deeper is not going to help, but Kunai opens his inventory and takes out the pulley wheel from a void that might be connected to Yukikaze's body. Afterward, they attach it to the well and Kunai asks Aku to pull water, which she does successfully, leaving everyone surprised. Kunai then explains how important the pulley wheel is, and it won't be wrong to say that even a war can start for a thing like this, so the bunny girls promise to keep it a secret. Kunai then takes out a fertilizer bag from the void, which also proves to be very helpful for the bunnies. On the contrary, we see the head noble Dona talking about the fact that Luna has taken back the village from church and planning to run it on her own with the Demon Lord. However, Luna's eldest sister Angel White expresses that she is worried that the Demon Lord might be taking advantage of Luna. Dona says that they should discipline the Demon Lord bastard, while the other old man suggests, respecting Luna's decision as the territory belongs to her. In the end, Angel White decides to wait and see, to which everyone agrees. As the old geezers leave, Killer Queen arrives in the hall and Angel White asks her about her time in the city where she got attacked by the Satanists. Killer Queen says that she is in love with the Dragonkin and starts praising the Dragonkin like some kid, while her elder sister tells her that it is hard to believe that something like the Dragonkin actually appeared there. Killer Queen stops talking for a second, after which she starts to roll on the ground, saying that she always bad-mouthed everyone, but Mr. Zero cared for someone like her, so she must find him, as she wants to bury her ugly face in his clothes. This worries Angel White even more, and she starts to think why her sisters are acting like crazy. Somewhere in a bar, we see two S-rank adventurers, Organ and Mink, who are also discussing if the Dragonkin scene is a fairy tale, or it really has something to do with reality. At that moment, the bar owner approaches them and tells them to focus on the Demon Lord, not the Dragonkin. Upon seeing Kunai's disgusting face, Mink says that the world will become a hell because of him, and they decide to hunt him down. As they leave, Mikan, who is sitting there, tells Yukikaze that she thinks Mink and Organ will be able to handle the Demon Lord, but he says that only he can handle the Demon Lord. Contrarily, Kunai and the gang is seen in a lavish restaurant where they have gathered to celebrate Aku's leg healing to motivate her to get her leg broken next time. Kunai tells Aku to drop the shyness and eat like there's no tomorrow, and the party begins. Afterward, the person to whom Kunai asked to bring a special gift for Aku arrives, and seeing the special gift, Aku gets happier. Yu slices the strawberry tart, and everyone starts to eat. At that moment, a rich lady shrimp-free butterfly, who looks more like an overboiled egg, arrives at their table, and Kunai invites her to join them. Surprisingly, Shrimp-Free knows Kunai as the Demon Lord, so he asks Luna about the lady through telepathy, which startles her at first, but then she informs him that this lady is one of the most influential figures in the nobles. Kunai thinks that if he gets to make a good relationship with Shrimp-Free, she could become an unbeatable ally. He informs Shrimp-Free that they are here to congratulate Aku on her injury healing, so she also congratulates Aku and asks if this is her first time in the city, to which she responds positively and get admired by the lady. Afterward, Shrimp-Free asks Kunai about his thoughts on the kingdom, to which he replies in a delicate manner which impresses Shrimp-Free, prompting Kunai to express that if he was on the top of the kingdom, he would have made the kingdom into a heaven in a short time. He then takes out a soap from inventory and Luna starts praising its effectiveness, prompting Shrimp-Free to think that the skin of these girls is really very good. Kunai asks her to give the soap a try and invites her to come to the hot spring in Luna's village that he's planning to open soon. He makes some bold claims about the wonders of that hot springs, which makes her super excited, so she tells him that she would love to go at the hot spring and asks Luna to keep it a secret from her little sister Oysterfree. Suddenly, an earthquake starts, and a waiter informs everyone that Satanists have attacked, prompting Kunai to get ready for the fun. He tells Yu to take care of everyone, while Aku asks him if he will be okay, so Kunai thinks that she is like a daughter who worries for her father. Afterward, he jumps to face on the Satanists, and starts heading to the crime scene where Mikan and Yukikaze are already kicking bums. However, soon they get surrounded when the Demon Lord appears and start beating the Satanists like my teacher beat me when he caught me playing with my rooster. One of the Satanists uses a dirty trick to summon a devil in exchange for the lives of his fellows without any consent. The devil uses a powerful barrier magic and starts talking big, but Kunai hits him with a rock which infuriates the devil, and he rushes toward Kunai. Kunai uses his battle skills, resulting in the devil crying like a baby and beg for his life. Till now, it's time for him to taste the death too. Kunai people surround him and start praising him like he's their father, but Kunai tells them that it is not a big deal. Afterward, Kunai decides to leave, but Yukikaze stops him and says that he wants to thank him with something since he saved his life for the second time. But Kunai asks him to drop the formalities. Yukikaze then asks about his real name, so Kunai introduces himself as Hakuto Kunai, and once again, everyone starts cheering him up. Yukikaze falls for Kunai while Mikan states that he's being deceived, and she likes the Dragonkin who loves justice, leaving Kunai surprised if Mikan is talking about just ass-blooded. Back at the bar, nobles are praising the management for hiring an excellent clown for keeping them calm in a situation like this, but we learn that the clown is an experienced and Shrimp-Free as the Satanists told him to murder them. Meanwhile, Luna wonders why Kunai hasn't returned, prompting Aku to assert that the Demon Lord has not broken his. She tells him that if she ever sees him near girls, she will dissect him and make him a real clown. On the other hand, we see Killer Queen and her servant fighting with zombies, where the head soldier named Martial Arts joined them. The scene then shifts to Satanists to join them in hell by summoning the Prince of Darkness, also known as Aluit. Angel White feels his presence and uses a powerful barrier, which takes his barrier, and she makes another which could only protect the castle. Afterward, Killer Queen kicks his soldier and also arrives at the scene. Killer Queen strikes him down, but Oluit gets up and attacks her back, prompting her to use her light shield. At that moment, Tron comes out of nowhere and uses the power of Hades, which starts draining the girl's powers. Oluit then starts kicking them like Ronaldo, after which he uses the Ray of Darkness, which deals greater damage to their jugs. Angel White tries to meddle, but Killer Queen tells her to focus on the barrier, while Kunai is seeing all this from a distance and thinking that the third holy clumsy as her other sisters. Kunai uses the administrator rights to transform into Zero. Zero kicks his balls. Afterward, Zero uses combat buff and punches Oluit and vomits his intestines. He uses the Ray of Darkness once again, but Zero mocks him for being a weakling. Just then, Tron happens to catch Oluit's attention, so he turns her into a donut and starts sucking blood to regain his strength, after which he throws her like garbage, and she thinks that she is going to die, but Zero revives her with his recovery item. Zero tells Tron to smile as she is saved, but she says that she has forgotten to smile since she started watching Indian comedians. Meanwhile, Oluit is shocked to see Zero's recovery power, uses his ultimate attack, All or Nothing, which turns him into a statue of dust, leaving everyone surprised. Afterward, the dark barrier fades into the thin air and Zero asks Tron to smile, but she starts to cry while everyone starts praising the Dragonkin. Tron hugs him, and Killer Queen also takes advantage of the moment to hug him from behind and says that she is in love with his dragon. The following day, Kunai goes to meet Angel White, where she asks how he would like her to call him. Kunai says that the Demon Lord has become a nickname of him, so she can also go with the same name. Angel White asks her what he is trying to do with Luna Elegant, prompting Kunai to tell her that meeting her was like a disaster for him, as she thought of him as some evil dude, but now things are pretty between them. Angel White couldn't believe it, as Luna is the most selfish brat she has ever seen, so she thinks that the Demon Lord has used some sort of magic spell on her. She asks if he is planning to harm the Holy Kingdom, to which he replies that instead of talking, he would like to show her something so that she can decide it after seeing his work. Afterward, he asks her for a favor of let him use some library in the kingdom for his research on Seraph, prompting Angel White to think that there must be something evil behind his research. However, she still allows him to use the library, after which he decides to leave, but just then, Angel White asks him if he is the one who killed the Demon King, but Kunai says that calling that thing a Demon King is like a joke to him. After leaving, he thinks that Angel White is very sensible, unlike her sisters. He then opens Administrator's Rights and discovers that the last fight gave him a reasonable amount of skill point with which he can summon another hottie like you, and even after building Hot Spring and Hospital, he will still have many points in his pocket. He then also learns that now he can use the Omni Travel system, through which he can travel to a place where he went in the past in an instant. He starts laughing like a creep, and hearing him, Aku rushes toward him to know if he got to clap the Holy Maiden. The scene then shifts to the library, where we see Kunai and Aku studying about angels. Kunai says that he's confused where the angels have gone, even though the devils still exist in the world. However, they couldn't find anything about Seraph, so he says that they can come back in future if they need to. Aku then asks him to read a storybook for her in which a dog goes into dungeons. Kunai asks the librarian if people can really find something from the dungeons, to which she replies that yes, people do find things from dungeons. Kunai ponders that since magic didn't exist in the Infinity game, this has become his most weak point in this world, so he must do something to overcome this weakness of him. Later, Kunai goes into a dark alley where Tron spots him and recognizes him as the lame dragon Poop. She tells him that she sees everything in a color, even if it's someone's emotions or soul. Kunai doesn't give a damn and walks away, but Tron pulls him back and asks him to bring out Zero. Kunai stops for a second and says that he will let her meet Zero, but she will have to do whatever he will ask her to. The poor kid agrees, not knowing that Kunai's dragon could be bigger than the Dragonkin. Afterward, Kunai takes her to the base to introduce her, but Luna says that there is a devil in Tron, leaving Kunai surprised. However, Kunai says that if Luna agrees to get along with Tron, her sister's view of her will change soon, so as a result, Luna agrees to comply. Kunai then asks Yu if she can Omni Travel, to which she replies with a yes, but when he tells others to grab him for the Omni Travel, Yu also hugs him with a lame excuse of saving points. Upon reaching the village, Kunai tells Yu to start the construction, so they head to the location, and in less than a minute, Kunai turns the base into a field hospital, which works fine even without the electricity. Kunai then assigns value to the coins of this world to the real world's currency, and tells Yu to charge the nobles as much as possible and favor the poor, which impresses her, and she tries to get a share of his dragon by acting sort of cute. Afterward, Kunai creates a hot spring resort with all sorts of baths, lavish rooms, and the best food in the world. At that moment, the bunnies catch his attention, so he decides to play hop-hop with them and tells them to bring the villagers there after work. The bunnies ask him the reason behind it, only to know that it is related to some bathing stuff, so they tell him that this is a luxury only rich can afford, prompting Kunai to remember that they are right. And he plans to build a bathhouse for the commoners as well. He then plans to build casinos to get the money out of Rich's pockets. Afterward, Kunai thinks about summoning his second aid because if his employees don't work, then the hot spring business will not profit him much. With this thought, he summons Isami Tahara, the Sigma dude with uncontrollable sister complex. Kunai then explains the mechanics of this world to Tahara while he is smoking the cigarette like some broken lover. However, when he reveals that Yu is also in this fantasy world, Tahara gets a little dramatic, so Kunai tells him that he wants him to cooperate with her. Kunai then ponders why he made Yu like the way she is when Tahara asks him to be honest, that this world is not like the Infinity game, prompting Kunai to assure him, after which Tahara says that if this is true, nothing could make him happier, as he was going to die a loser in the Infinity game for having such an ugly face. Kunai explains that he is going in the opposite direction of the Infinity game in this world. He tells him that firstly, he needs to manage a field hospital, a hot spring resort, and a bath house out of which he must get profit. Tahara tells him that he is not some robot, but Kunai says that he trusts him that he can do it. Tahara feels a powerful electric shock when Kunai touches him, so he asks if Yu checked him or not. At that moment, Yu appears out of nowhere, shocking Tahara, followed by other girls, so Kunai lets them introduce to each other and goes out thinking about welcoming Shrimp-Free. The next day, Kunai visits the old man and shows him a stupid music box with crappy songs, which surprises him. Kunai says that this time he wants the old man to value his item, but he gets panicked and says that he thinks this box has a tremendous value, prompting Kunai to ask him. The old man worries more, thinking if he values it less than Kunai's expectations, he might lose all future business from him, so he asserts that the minimum value of it should be at least 15 giant gold coins, and this is how Kunai gets to clap his old buns. After this, Kunai heads straight to the clothes store and tells them to stitch clothes just as the samples for 5 giant gold coins as an advance payment, and 2 more at the time of the delivery to Luna's villages. The shopkeeper goes crazy seeing such a large sum of money, and tells his sisters to work in day and night to please Kunai. Afterward, he goes to some grocery shop and instructs them to deliver food to the village, to which everyone happily agrees. Later that night, Kunai transforms into Zero and feels a strong sense of justice and playing hero no matter who stands in front of him, after which he transforms back to the old man Kunai. The next day, everything in the village starts getting better, and we also get to see the bathhouse that Kunai made for commoners. Tahara guides the kids to clean with the best possible method, but keep in mind no bunnies were harmed in this. Afterward, he goes to the bathhouse where this lonely disgusting is delighted to see bunnies in cute outfits, but the girls don't look to be fans of these suits. However, Tahara also instructs to greet the customers in the right way, which they do pretty good. A week later, Shrimp-Free arrives in the villages where Kunai and Tahara welcome her, and she expresses that the village is so much better than the rumors she heard. Kunai assures her that the next time she will come here, she will think as if she had died and came straight to the heaven. Just then an old geezer also steps forward, to whom Shrimp-Free told to wait before meeting Kunai, but the old man says that he doesn't like waiting. Kunai, curious about the old man, asks who he is. Shrimp-Free replies that the man is none other than Commando Sambo. Observing the old man's tattered clothes and the cloth covering his eyes, Kunai remarks that his condition seems quite serious. Sambo says that years ago, a magic beast took his eyes to play table soccer and forgot to return. Kunai tells him about Yu and says that she will be able to treat him, which makes Sambo very excited, and he asks Kunai to take him to Yu even if there is a slightest chance for his recovery. Kunai then tells Tahara to take him to Yu and uses telepathy to inform her about the whole story. Afterward, all of them take Sambo to Yu, where Shrimp-Free says that she feels like she has come to another world. Yu starts examining Sambo's eyes and puts the golden water in his eyes, which works like a miracle, and Sambo's eyes become as good as new. He starts crying, so Shrimp-Free tells her to head back to martial arts, so he rushes there without the thought that he has to pay to serve his old master, resulting in Shrimp-Free to pay for his treatment with a lambda coin that worth 100 giant gold coins according to its current market value. A flashback shows Luna when she was only 6 years old. She is running with a friend of her named Eagle, holding a copper coin and saying that now they will be able to buy some bread, but when they reach at the restaurant, they are disgraced by 3 idiots who tells them that they are smelling like beasts and they won't be able to eat anything for the whole day. Luna gets infuriated and says that when she becomes a holy maiden, she will make sure that they regret treating them like this. She asks their names, but none of them gives a damn, and Eagle tells her to calm down. However, after 2 long years, when she becomes able to train for becoming a holy maiden, she asks to keep a servant with her. But the person tells her that the one she wants to keep as a servant is no longer part of the world since she was executed for being a demi-human. Luna asserts that Eagle didn't do anything wrong, but the man tells him that being a demi-human is not less than a sin. Afterward, Kunai uses telepathy to talk to Luna, which brings her back to the present, and Kunai informs him that he is heading with Shrimp Free towards Luna, so he tells her to get ready to go with their plan. Once they reach New the Hot Springs, Luna escorts Shrimp Free inside, and the bunnies start giving her all sorts of bathing services in there. Luna then takes her to let her try the carbon dioxide bath, and after that she takes her to the herbal bath where Shrimp Free tells Luna that she is in love with the Demon Lord, but she gets embarrassed and starts acting weird. She then takes her to the salt sauna and tells her the way to use the salt to make her skin feel lighter. This fires up Shrimp Free's fat meat and she gets super satisfied. On the other hand, Angel White seems enraged knowing that Shrimp Free has gone to Luna's village for enjoying the vacations, and she tells Killer Queen about it. But she doesn't bother much, prompting Angel White to ask the reason behind her taking it so lightly, only to learn that when Killer Queen met Luna in the city, she observed that Luna had fallen in love with the Demon Lord. Angel White says that she is trying to have a serious conversation, but Killer Queen says that she will pray for her that she also finds someone just the way she found Zero. On the other hand, we see Tahara, who is approached by Yu. She asks if he's drawing a map of the village, to which Tahara replies with a yes, but Yu says that the facility's locations are changed, prompting Tahara to say that if conditions change, they might need to change the locations as well. Tahara says that Yu always used to like little boys, but now she is all changed and overly devoted to Kunai, which is not the normal version of Yu. Later, we see Yu checking up Kunai, who is not so fond of being checked like this, so he says that he will come whenever he feels like he is sick. But Yu starts begging him not to go. She then plans to massage him with her puppies, but Kunai doesn't seem to be interested in mature ladies, as we already know he is a creep, so Kunai takes his coat and leaves. In the evening, everyone enjoys food, after which Kunai takes an outdoor bath to relax himself, but unexpectedly, he is approached by Tron. Kunai gets worried that he might get caught by others, so he tells Tron to leave, but she insists on meeting Zero and his dragon. Kunai tells her not to call him Zero in front of anyone else and gets up and to take her out of there. Later, he finds out that neither the TV is working, nor the food is automatically added. However, as far as the consumables are concerned, they are being replenished on their own without an issue. Just then Aku arrives there and tells him that she went to the herbal bath today. She says that everything except Kunai is great in the hot spring, after which Kunai asks her if she has a plan of sleeping with her, to which she replies with a yes. Later that night, Luna arrives in their room yelling that Aku had to be her body pillow for today. Kunai tells her that Aku is sleeping, but Luna accuses him of doing nasty stuff to Aku. But Kunai says that she's just imagining things. Luna then sees Aku having a good sleep, so she decides to sleep there with Aku, but soon starts blaming Kunai for touching her bum. She then tells Kunai to keep his hand aside as an excuse and finally sleeps with them. The following day, Kunai writes a note for Aku and Luna stating that he's going to the capital and will return before midnight. Him trouble. Now in Yukikaze, where Yukikaze tells Mild, prompting Yukikaze to ask what he wants to know. Kunai says that he wants to know about the dungeons, to which Yukikaze replies that the guild won't be able to tell him about anything outside the country, but he can teach him everything he likes. Mikan starts scolding him for bad guys, and just then, Yukikaze asks him to come with him even if it's for a drink. Kunai decides to take a sip of love, so Yukikaze holds his hands. When they reach the cafe, Lei recognizes him as the Demon Lord, and everyone in the hotel tries to polish his nuts for defeating the devils. They start drinking, where Yukikaze starts acting strange and Kunai notices his actions. Afterward, Lei brings some snacks which Kunai tastes a bit, but Yukikaze takes it from him and starts eating, leaving him surprised. Kunai understands the situation and decides to get on the point, so he asks Mikan about the adventurer system. Mikan doesn't want to talk to Kunai, but still does, as Kunai saved them 2 times to get treasures in the dungeons. Mikan explains that they are basically self-employed workers who put their life on the line to earn countries where dungeons exist, prompting Kunai to ask if the peace times exist too, and he nods in response. Afterward, Kunai asks them about what kind of things one can find in the dungeons, only to learn that there are various things which are divided into 5 categories. Kunai asks if there is any armor that can block magic or cut through hard objects. So after gathering necessary information, Kunai decides to go to north, prompting Yukikaze to ask him to take him along, as he is a B-rank adventurer. The scene shifts to Angel White, who is praying to get more magical power in order to save her little sister from the Demon Lord. Angel White asks how the Demon Lord managed to such a large amount of money to carry on this project, and Luna tells the changing room. But Angel White mistakenly enters the men bathe and gets shocked to see so many baths in one building, planning to accomplish by making these baths in a place like that. Kunai takes a sip of green tea and says that if someone as important as her is there to see him, then it must be something really important. But before anything, he throws a towel toward Angel White, making her realize that all this time she was standing in the nature's clothing. Kunai asks her to dip in the bath because if someone as important as her catches a cold, it will not be a good thing for the kingdom. Angel White tries to get to the point but notices that this is the first time she's seeing a man in nature's clothing. But Kunai doesn't pay attention to her and asks her to speak about the important thing she wanted to discuss with him. Angel White composes herself and questions him that why he is deceiving Shrimpfree, and what does he want to do to this kingdom. Kunai states that he is not forcing anybody to do anything and that everyone is there out of their own free will. Angel White gets up and starts walking toward Kunai in anger while Kunai tells her to stop before he pollutes the water once again. He then tells her to sink her shoulders into the water if she wants to know the answers to all her questions, and Angel White does just as she is told. She starts feeling relaxation in her body which she had never experienced before. Kunai offers her the green tea but she thinks that he is trying to poison her, so she uses her power to check but she detects nothing bad from it. Kunai says that the people who are running this country are called incompetent in his country as they turn their backs on the poor and ignore what must be done. To some extent, Angel White agrees to Kunai's ideas. She then takes a sip which boosts her power and Kunai takes the cup back from her. He then uses Omni Travel to take her back to the castle, leaving her astonished. Angel White thinks that the Demon Lord's power is just like the Seraph's miracle, so she asks him who exactly he is, prompting Kunai to remind her that when they met for the first time, he told her that he will show him, and she will be the one to decide what he is. However, he prohibits her from telling anybody about what happened today, leading Angel White to think that if she tells anybody that someone has the miracle just like Seraph and who can give halos to others, the kingdom will fall into chaos. Angel White asks him the same question and Kunai tells him that he wants to know about Seraph because he was summoned to this world by Ophan. Everything starts becoming clear before Angel White's eyes, so she asks him if he wants to oppose Seraph, but he says that he doesn't have such intention and he only wanted to ask some questions to her, after which he uses the Omni Travel and disappears. Angel White then wonders that Kunai is Lucifer, who was a fallen angel and demon lord, and vows to turn him back to the angel. Later that night, Aku, Tron, and Luna doesn't let Kunai sleep properly, and the following day, Kunai tells you to take care of the hospital and Tahara to take care of the village and its matters. That's it for today, my fellow men of culture. Like and subscribe to the channel for more plot-filled recaps.